Good morning, Chairman Pallone, Chairwoman Schakowsky, Ranking Member Walden, and Ranking Member McMorris-Rogers, and members of the Subcommittee on Consumer Protection and Commerce. Thank you for the opportunity to share my personal experience and perspective about the role of social media companies in radicalizing America and perpetuating extremism and hate on their platforms. Unfortunately, I know firsthand that online hate ruins lives by stoking fear, silencing voices, and causing harm to people's physical and professional safety, all of which have a serious, lasting effect on victims and their families. And just because it happens digitally does not mean it should be taken less seriously. Hate should never be normalized. Nigger agitator, nigress, and sheboon were just a few of the words used by Andrew Anglin, known white supremacist, founder of the neo-Nazi website The Daily Stormer, and co-organizer of Charlottesville's Unite the Right rally, to describe me after I became the first Black woman to hold the position of student government president at the American University in May 2017. On May 1st, 2017, the day after I was sworn in as president, a masked perpetrator hung bananas from black corded nooses from light posts and bus stops around my campus, as you can see in this picture right here. The bananas were labeled with AKA and AKA free, making reference to the predominantly Black sorority Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated, of which I am a member, and made reference to Harambe bait, referencing the gorilla that was killed at the Cincinnati Zoo in 2016. As this vile act gained national attention and was investigated by the Department of Justice as a hate crime, my story must have come to Andrew Anglin's attention. By May 4th, 2017, Anglin had taken it upon himself to incite a coordinated cyber harassment campaign to encourage his followers to, quote, send me some words of support, end quote, and by doxing and providing his followers with direct links to my Facebook and Twitter pages. In other words, Anglin and his followers posted my personal information online with the intent for the information to be used to harass, stalk, and threaten me, and to be used against me for an unlawful purpose. Due to his notoriety amongst those in the white supremacist community, Anglin's followers heeded his call to action. Since Anglin's troll storm, some of the threatening, racist, and sexist comments directed at me on social media platforms like YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter include but are not limited to, quote, I'll take a few years for paying the street with her blood. Quote, I wish I knew her address. I would send her a noose so she can go hang herself and do the world a favor. Quote, I think I'd take my chances with hiding her small tit body after her fatal accident. Quote, just smash her in the head with a bike lock hard enough to split her head open with a wound that needed stitches. I seen you only get probation for that offense. There are more statements similar to those and can be seen in my written testimony. As a result of this experience, I was diagnosed with post-traumatic stress disorder, anxiety, and depression, and lost 15% of my body weight. I also experienced flashbacks and triggers and am forced to take increased measures to protect myself and my family. Most importantly, the harassment that Anglin incited on various social media platforms continues to this day, despite Anglin's troll storm being initiated over 3 years ago. I am now used to reviewing, filtering, identifying, screenshotting, and saving multiple threatening and harassing comments on a monthly basis in the event that the comments rise to the level of a true threat, specifying time, place, and manner of attack. But I should not have to be. This is why I sued Anglin, the Daily Stormer's parent company, and 2 other defendants in federal court for violating the District of Columbia's Human Rights Act, which prohibits individuals from interfering with someone's use of a public accommodation, with pro bono representation by the Lawyers Committee for Civil Rights Under Law, the Washington Lawyers Committee, and Kirkland and Ellis, LLP. In Dumpson versus Aid, Judge Rosemary Collier set precedent by ruling that online racist and gender-based harassment can interfere with an individual's equal access to a place of public accommodations, as I had to make significant changes to how I navigated on a day-to-day basis, both on and off campus. Weeks ago, Facebook was yet again apathetic to racism and incitement to violence, and the call to arms event that resulted in the Kenosha shooting was flagged over 450 times, but once again, Facebook did nothing. Unfortunately, this does not surprise me because out of the hundreds of times that I have reported the hate directed at me on Facebook and other platforms, the social media companies have never contacted me despite it being brought to their attention. I speak from experience when I say that when online social media companies are left to regulate themselves, instances of hate, bigotry, and prejudice run rampant under the guise of free speech. Today, extremists are using the internet for the purposes of recruiting, organizing, and mobilizing members of their digital community to commit threatening acts online and in person. In 2017, H.R. 3067, the Online Safety Modernization Act, was introduced, which would have provided federal protections against doxing and swatting. However, it was not signed into law. This is why I'm a big supporter of initiatives like ADL's Backspace Hate and the Stop Hate for Profit campaign to raise awareness and combat harmful online activities, including cyber harassment, swatting, and doxing. But civil rights activists and organizations cannot do this work alone. Congress must act. In my written remarks, I offer 6 ways that Congress can act to address the rise in hate crimes, both online and in person, in partnership with the ADL. And I look forward to discussing some of these recommendations in the question and answer portion of this hearing. Thank you.